We usher in the new year of basketball here at Berkley Prep High School. It's the Berkley Prep Invitational between the Clearwater Tornadoes and the Wharton Wildcats. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us alongside former USF and Tampa Prep star Andrick Frazier. I'm Drew Felios. The Clearwater Tornadoes and the Wharton Wildcats, two of the top programs in Pinellas and Hillsborough County, respectively. But Andrew aren't with Wharton. They are tops among a slew of Hillsborough County public schools playing tremendous basketball right now.
You know, one of the better teams in our viewing area, Drew, and this team that hails out of New Tampa is led by Coach Tommy Tonelli. You know, when you look at the turnover that's taken place in Hillsborough County, the retirement of Doug Apple and Chamberlain, some of these long legendary coaches, they're a new breed of coaches in town, and Tommy Tonelli is taking it up as a front runner.
And these Wildcats are led by C.J. McGill, a four-year starter at point guard. Andrick, he reminds me a lot of you whenever I watch him play.
Drew, I'm flattered. C.J. McGill is an extremely gifted athlete, floor leader, floor general, plays for a point guard, an extension of Tommy Tonelli, and what he's been able to do when he's had great point guards. Remember what he did with Van Zandt.
You know, Andrick, during the holidays, a lot of teams get a break. A lot of teams get to ease up. Not the case at Clearwater. It seems like their competition has just gotten better and better, and they've taken it on the chin a few times as well.
Coach Carr did not do a good job of telling Santa what he wanted for Christmas because he lined up an unbelievable schedule for him over the holiday break. I mean, you see basically two wins that are bookends with some tough competition, including Gainesville, a game that we covered in Boca Ciega.
Last time we saw Clearwater, it was against Gainesville, and Rasim Ahmed was the top player for the Tornadoes. Andrick, what did you like about his game?
Just a hard-nosed, gritty player, Drew. There's not anything on the floor this young man will not. Scores the majority of his buckets from the paint. Pretty good high percentage from the free throw line, rebounds the basketball, just a hard-nosed kid.
All right, so a big-time matchup coming up next, game one of two. We're going to bring you here from the Berkley Prep Invitational. It's Wharton, it's Clearwater, Wildcats and Tornadoes coming up next on Brighthouse Sports Network.
The Brighthouse Sports Network Game of the Week is presented by Subway Restaurants. Stop by Subway this January for the new Savory Turkey and Bacon Melt today. Subway, eat fresh.
So Wharton taking on Clearwater here from the Straz Family Fieldhouse as you get a look at the Clearwater Tornadoes. And Cody Carden right in the middle of that group wearing number 21. Clearwater comes in 7-8. Wharton comes in with a record of 13-2. As we take a look at the starting lineups here tonight for Wharton, C.J. McGill we talked about in the opening, but Jakeem Greer gets it done with Tyler Langston, Sir Reynolds the leading scorer, and Chase Litton the outstanding quarterback at Wharton on the football field. And for the Tornadoes, it's Carden, Ramirez with Schaefer Sandy, Armin Tabakovic, and Rasim Ahmed, who had the big game against Gainesville over the holidays. Tyler Langston, outstanding shooter for Wharton. And Andrick, as we begin this game, I cannot get over how beautiful this Straz Family Fieldhouse is here at Berkley Prep High School, a top-notch facility.
No, Drew, Berkley put a lot of work into raising funds, campaign for this facility, and it is just outstanding. I mean, it's an athlete's dream. Would be the envy of a lot of Division II programs across the country.
So Sir Reynolds starts the game with a quick layup, and it's 2-0 Wharton. Rasim Ahmed. Tabakovic it off. The defense of Wharton has come to play. Jakeem Greer lays it in.
One thing you can always count on when you're watching the Tommy Tonelli team is they're going to sit down and defend. This is a team that's going to get hands in passing lanes. They're going to be extremely disciplined, play great team defense.
Ball out of bounds. It'll stay with Clearwater. As Tommy Tonelli, first time we have had him on the Game of the Week since he came back to Wharton after working a couple years at his alma mater, the University of South Florida. So good to have him back in the high school game. Carden underneath, puts it in.
The Clearwater Tornadoes in that possession, Drew, taking advantage of their size. They do have a bit of a size advantage. It's going to be very important for them to crash the offensive glass when they have the opportunity.
Look inside, Chase Linton off the side of the backboard. Here come the Tornadoes. Ryan Ramirez. number 24 today.
Like the spacing of the Clearwater Tornadoes. You know, what you'll find with when they play side defense, it's going to be very difficult to penetrate the basketball. Look for some backdoor cuts and wide open jump shots.
Tabakovic's shot is off. High up for the rebound was Reynolds. Boy, Wharton always seems to have such great athletes on the floor with awesome basketball instincts. As that pass thrown away, it's going to be a backboard. It'll be Clearwater basketball as Coach Alan Carden, in his 5th season, has had his hands full trying to mold this Tornadoes bunch. Andrick, why hasn't this Tornadoes team fully clicked so far?
Well, I think for him, it's just a different basketball team from what he's accustomed. I mean, he has a couple of two-sport athletes that are playing, so he doesn't have them, you know, for the full year working on their basketball skills. So, you know, this is, I think, we can consider a rebuilding year for him. You know, Coach Carden understands that, but he's not going to put any type of any type of product on the floor that doesn't resemble a Carden program.
Jumper by Ramirez makes it 4-4.
Wharton's a team that doesn't get up and down. You know, they'll be very patient on the offensive end. They want to execute and make sure they get the shots that they want. You know, if they're able to create turnovers, you know, they'll get out on the fast break. But for the most part, they are comfortable, you know, with taking 30, 40 seconds to get the shot they want on the offensive end.
Rebound by Carden, and here come the Tornadoes. Clearwater with 12 Final Fours from 1925 to 1960. 17 Final Fours overall. When you talk about history and tradition, I think any other local school in the Tampa Bay area has the resume of the Tornadoes. This is a nice move by Rasim Ahmed, and 34 on the board for the first time.
And you see the Tornadoes doing their damage on the inside.
Litton dishes it out, and the short. So Schaefer Sandy rips down the board. And Clearwater looks to extend their lead. One state title overall for Clearwater. That year was 1981. Been some great teams since then. Try and dump it inside. Litton came up with the steal. And this one's out of bounds to Wharton.
Here you see Rasim Ahmed just really, you know, working his magic along the baseline. Wharton did not have the opportunity to get a baseline. Ahmed taking advantage.
He is tough to deal with on the inside. Undersized too, about 6'2", but plays big.
You know, has a strong base, strong backside, as you pointed out the last game we did on the game of the week with Clearwater, but he's also a lot quicker than what he looks.
Right down the pipes, nice move. Drew Vanderbrook scores his first points of the game. Justice Reed, number 12, is checked in for the Tornadoes. He is a big physical player. So is Eric Hester with the basketball, number 23. Carden, pump fakes. Now he's going to draw a foul.
Carden's ability to shoot the basketball from behind the arc, Wharton has to respect it. It's just a hard closeout. Carden understand that, driving to the basket, drawing the foul.
Carden's two older brothers playing basketball right now as we speak tonight. Mother Tammy stayed home, Andrick, to watch it on Brighthouse Sports Network and also watch the web streaming of her son. How cool is that?
That is the digital age. I'm pretty sure she has the iPad, the TV on, and maybe even the iPhone, watching all three at the same time.
Chase Litton, what a year he had on the football field. Nearly 3,000 yards passing for the Wildcats. Made it to the playoffs, eventually knocked out by Dr. Phillips. Tornadoes will take some air out here, all tied at 6s. Andrick, is this possibly, as Carden has his shot deflected, the best chance for Clearwater to win, to try and slow the game down a bit?
Well, I think these are fouls for both of these ball clubs. They like to run half-court sets and half-court offenses. Clearwater doesn't have the strong guard play they've had in the past. With the exception of Carden, there aren't too many people that can put the ball on the floor. And Carden actually is an off guard having to play point this year. So really, this is a good matchup and good style for both ball clubs.
Sir Reynolds can certainly run the lane, can he?
Well, that's just a gifted athlete getting out on the floor and being rewarded by a point guard with great vision.
Reed tries to spin. Linton, contact, no whistle. And it goes to Wharton. Wharton coming in here with the 2 losses. Those 2 losses, Andrick, to Tampa Prep and then Lake Highland Prep last night. They had to take on Joel Berry and the Highlanders. Wharton came up short 66-55. That is how good Lake Highland is with Joel Berry now back in the lineup for the Highlanders.
Well, we'll get a chance to see Joel Berry in about an hour and a half, and did the state final last year, and he's a very impressive point guard. There's not a ceiling for that young man, that's for sure. He can continue to get better, and that was also his first game back after injury.
Big time contact here.
See, trying to slide in front, never had an opportunity to get set and take the charge, and Sir Reynolds using his athletic ability to get to the cup.
Reynolds, nearly 16 points a game, can score from anywhere on the court. Surprised yet, Andrick, that number 3 doesn't have any solid college offers just yet.
Well, I think part of it has to do with defining where is he going to play at the next level as far as the position. I'm not calling him a tweener, but he's definitely going to have to play a 2-guard spot at the mid-Division I level. So the ability to put the ball on the floor, we've seen him do that, knock down a long-range shot. He's played for a great coach, so he's going to understand and know the. So if he'll be patient, the offers will come.
Well, every single week, Brighthouse Sports Network honors a student that excels on and off the field. That's the Athlete of the Week. Log on to BHSN.com to find out who that lucky athlete is. Brighthouse Sports Network is your home for high school sports. Four-point game. And now substitution for Wharton as Langston comes back into the game. Shaquem Greer will have a seat. He goes with about a 7-man rotation.
Well, here they see him setting back in a 2-3 zone, forcing Clearwater to knock down the shot from outside.
Anthony White is checked in the game for Clearwater. Hester will let it fly and knock it down. That is what the Tornadoes were looking for from the freshman.
Well, Hester wanted the ball. His feet were set. Produced as soon as he received the pass.
Right back at you. McGill for 3.
The lefty showing you he can get it done as well.
Carden thought about it, but pulled up. As that Wharton defense extended, now backs off.
Great job by Langston, really forcing Carden to dribble the basketball out and lengthen out the offense.
Long shot again. And hit again. Eric Hester. Boy, if he can do this consistently, Clearwater will be in business.
Well, Carden needs some help offensively, and if you're right, if Hester can down a long-range ball, it'll definitely open up some avenues for Carden to do some damage.
Talk about a way to earn playing time for Clearwater right now. Step onto the court and just flat out knock down some shots. So Langston at the top of the key. Recently earned his starting spot for Wharton. He's played well game after game. Coach Tonelli just made the switch. Vanderbrook. Jumping near the baseline. Turnaround jumper. Turns into a pass, and it's off. Rasim Ahmed with the rebound. Final seconds. McGill will launch. C.J. McGill, near the out-of-bounds line, knocks down a 3. And we end the first quarter with a flurry. 16-12 here at Berkley. Just underway, the Berkley Prep Invitational. Here at the Berkley Prep Invitational, a brand new Straz family field house. At Berkley Prep High Felio's Andrick Frazier, tons of basketball coming up later tonight. Up next, Winter Haven takes on Boone. That game at 8 o'clock. And then Lake Highland Prep battles Berkley Prep at 10 p.m. Yes, we'll take a look at our top 10, the best teams in our viewing area. Andrick right now, Tampa Prep #1, Lake Wales 2, and then assess the rest of the field. First of all, Lake Wales at 7-5, ranked #2.
Well, I think Lake Wales is, you have to give them a little bit of credit for what they were able to do last year. They lost a lot of seniors, but I think the first 2 weeks of the season, or excuse me, the first 2 weeks of the new year are really going to kind of break down how Lake Wales is going to finish. You know, Jesuit has played a pretty decent schedule, handed Tampa Catholic a loss last night. Saw Tampa Catholic play right prior to this game, and they dropped a game that ran some Everglades. So we have some good basketball left, and you have to tip your hat off to both you and McCulley for picking up some pretty good games this year. Great assessment of talent.
You're welcome. Took a lot of thought and a lot of time. Jordan Leston dumps it inside. Rasim Evmet going to work again.
Evmet working the baseline, and great job of setting the baseline screen to bring him up.
Pull up three is good, but did they save it? Yes, they did. It'll be Wharton basketball off Leston.
That's just a heads-up play on that possession by Greer.
Shot from the corner. Langston is off, and it hits off Chase Litton. It'll be Clearwater basketball. Clearwater started the season at 5-0, but it has been tough sledding after that. 3-8 the past 11 games against just brutal competition.
Clearwater just really patient. I mean, there it is. C.J. McGill getting in the passing lane.
McGill goes to that left hand and scores. He's got 8 points already, Andrick.
Right there, that's just a headsy play by a point guard, understanding the play and being in the right space at the right time for the steal.
Jordan Leston, his jumper's off. Stolen, Carden. Can he convert on the other end? Yes, he can.
Carden showing McGill he can also shoot through the passing lane.
So Clearwater able to hang in here in the early going. Can they hang with the athletes, though, for 4 quarters for Wharton? That'll be the big question. Greer, little short jumper comes up short. Reynolds powers it back up, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Well, both ball clubs have done a really good job of executing the offense and getting the shots that they want. And here you can just see Sir Reynolds attacking the offensive glass. Have to turn and find a body when the shot goes up.
Reynolds, for 3 years, has played varsity basketball at Wharton. Always seems like Coach Tonelli has a slasher in the lineup, a guy that can get to the rim quick, wreak havoc defensively. This is that guy.
He's a pretty much do everything guy for Tonelli. I mean, talked about his ability to score, leads his team in scoring. Also gets to the glass, but a great defender as well.
He's got 8 points, 3 rebounds to go with it. And here he is again, wreaking havoc. 2-on-1 now. Charge not called. McGill able to score.
Clearwater has to be extremely careful with their passes. I mean, again, this is a deceptively long basketball team.
Sandy dumped it off to Carden with a little runner along the baseline. So Cody Carden has 6 points. 15-footer is good. Boy, McGill doing what he wants right now.
C.J. McGill just gets to the floor, the right spots. Nothing flashy or fancy. Beautiful left-handed stroke.
Leston will fire the three.
Rebound Wharton, number 11, 15-3.
Wharton taking her time here to run a set.
It'll stay with Wharton off the kick. The Wildcats 24-4 last year. They were exceptional in 2012. C.J. McGill and company fell in the first round of the postseason to Eastlake. You can just tell, Andrew, they are playing with a different kind of fire this year.
Well, a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. I mean, that was an early exit for them last year, and you know, they were disappointed by that, and they want to get back, you know, to the level of basketball they know they're capable of playing.
McGill holds up on that one. As Clearwater right now in the man-to-man. Now they drop back, looks more of a zone right now.
Just up there in a 1-3-1, Drew.
Yep.
Doing a great job of getting hands up.
McGill came up short. Tried to pass it back out to him. As Scott Salazzo is in the game for the Wildcats right now. Right back up with it. Oh, McGill, the little guy playing big. 14 points in this first half for McGill.
Hey, C.J. McGill is just a basketball player. There's nothing else to say about him. And here, just understand you're on the weak side. You need to crash the offensive. 70% of shots come off on the other side of the rim. Point guard understand that, having a nose for the basketball and scoring an easy two.
So Tommy Tonelli has one thing in common with you, Andrick. Both of you guys stars at the University of South Florida at one particular time. His era a little sooner than yours, 1982 to 1986. Was a grad assistant coach there as soon as he graduated, then became part-time coach in 1988, and then a full-time member of the staff 1991 to 1996, and then rejoined Stan Heath's staff back in 2008.
Coach Tonelli was one of the lead recruiters and one of the main decisions why I chose to come back to USF when I transferred from Vanderbilt. But you know, don't let that baby face fool you, okay? This is one of the most competitive men I have ever met in my life. You know, he hates to lose in a game of cards. You know, he expects his players, you know, to play with that same fire and intensity.
Hester back in the game. Hit a couple of early threes before heading to the bench. If he's still got some firepower left, he's got Drew Vanderbrook all over now. Ramirez passed up the shot. Long possession here for the Tornadoes. Carden for three. Oh, if that would have dropped, he would have had a shot at a 4-point play. Now he'll get 3 free throws.
Clearwater really patient on that possession, Drew. I mean, you can tell this is a very well-coached basketball team. You know, and Carden just waiting for the right opportunity. And here, once the ball is swung over, I mean, a pretty decent job on the closeout by Sir Reynolds. Have to get a basketball, and you know, Cardinals saying you never foul a jump shooter, let alone a 3-point shooter.
So Cody Carden has had to do most of the ball handling for the Tornadoes this season, even though he's more of a natural 2-guard. Second free throw is off. You know, it's not what Carden likes to see. This is one of those guys that lives in the gym. They need his offense, Andrick, especially down the stretch. At playoff time, if they want any chance of competing in the postseason.
See Clearwater here with a little full court pressure.
It'll stay with Wharton. Eric Hester, just a freshman. Reminds a lot of people of Okaro White. He's got those long limbs. Interesting to see the player that 23 eventually becomes. Another break for Wharton, right down the pipes. C.J. McGill just having his way.
He's just so good with the basketball. See him splitting the trap there, pushing the ball out in front so no one can come from behind and poke it for a steal. And they have enough ball control to finish even with contact on the glass.
A 3-second call by Mickey Cavedo, one of our referees here tonight. (28-19), 9-point game. And a foul called on the floor as Sir Reynolds turned and faced the bucket. Ryan Ramirez going to get whistled that time.
You just see the speed on that possession there of Sir Reynolds. He catches the basketball and the hesitation. It just catches Ramirez off balance and blows right past him.
So Jakeem Greer to inbound. McGill right now with Anthony White trying to guard him. This Wharton team, obviously extremely talented, also very team-oriented. One thing they perhaps lack is that big man presence, but the little man presence definitely there tonight as McGill scores again.
I don't know if you need a big man presence. You got a guy like this that's just filling up the stat sheet.
Now the Wildcats running. This game's starting to open up as Jakeem Greer scores and a timeout on the floor. Wharton has opened it up to a 13-point lead.
Jay McGill, the scorer from behind the arc, attacking the basket. We've seen him get in the passing lane and create some steals. This young man is talented.
Boy, when you've got senior guards like the Wildcats have with McGill and Greer and Langston, you can be awfully, awfully tough to stop. And McGill has just had that look tonight.
Look, just again, he just has such a great eye for the basket. I mean, a really good shooting touch in there. You know, his first option was not to shoot the basketball. He was trying to create a shot for a teammate. You know, was able to get the defender on his hip and spin and just shoot a little baby floater from 14 feet.
The High School Mashup is your source for daily reports on the world of high sports. That's the High School Mashup, BHSN.com, the place you can find it. Brighthouse Sports Network is your home for high school sports. The Mashup, Andrick, something that I've been spending a lot of time on during my daily routine at Brighthouse Sports Network. Hester, first miss tonight. Inside, Ahmed tried to power it up. Wharton running again. An easy one as Sir Reynolds was uncontested.
They were having a couple of cracks at offensive rebounds and just could not put them.
So 10 for Reynolds. Reed left it short. Justice Reed's got to score that. It'll be Wildcats ball once again.
Thought Sir Reynolds there got caught a little bit in no man's land. Thought he had a wide open Langston streaking up the floor. Fortunate to get the ball back.
So C.J. McGill this first half, when he's playing point guard, Andrick, for Wharton, they are 64-8 with him as the starter.
That is quite some record. Shows you the importance of that young man on the floor.
That is 8 times as many wins as losses, if my math is correct.
It's pretty good math for a broadcaster, Drew.
Well, thanks. That's what the Leto education can do also, Andrick.
Wharton here trying to hold for the last shot.
20 seconds left to go in this first half. This second quarter controlled by Wharton. Nice move. Well, flashing. Ahmed was there to cut him off. Reynolds went to the bucket. That shot up and in by Greer. So Jakeem Greer scores his 6th point. As Carden trying to get a shot off, they'll call a foul on the floor. Cody Carden just kind of shakes his head. Coach Tonelli. His team impressive here in this second frame.
See what Coach Carden has drawn up. Each coach should have a kind of under 1 second play lined up.
Tough to get a shot off in point 4. They try. But Anthony White can't put it in. So 36-19. C. Jill, the star of the first half for Wharton. And it's Wildcats 36-19 over Clearwater. Halftime festivities coming up next.
The Brighthouse Sports Network Game of the Week is presented by Subway Restaurants. Stop by Subway this January for the new Savory Turkey and Bacon Melt today. Subway, eat fresh.
It is halftime here at the Berkley Prep Invitational, and the Wharton Wildcats lead the Clearwater Tornadoes 36-19. Wharton ranks 7th in our latest Brighthouse Sports Network poll. Alongside me, Drew Fandrick Frazier, and Berkley Prep basketball coach Bobby Reinhardt, also the athletic director here. Coach, you told us this place was nice. You told me it was nice during the week. I could have never expected this. Whoa, what a facility.
Well, we're glad you're enjoying it, and it's been a wonderful 2 days of basketball, and you know, all the coaches and the officials that have been in here for the first time, and people like you have just been wowed by the place, and we're ecstatic about it. It's our first year in it, and the first basketball event that we've been able to host in here, and the hospitality suite that you can see on screen right now has been quite a hit, and our parents have done an outstanding job with lots of foods up there, and I think everybody's being fed very well.
It's also nice when your team can come out and play great basketball. You had Pinecrest last night. That's the same team that eliminated your team last year in the Final Four. In Lakeland, you guys handled them last night at home.
Well, I don't know about handled them. We got off to a good start again. It was interesting. It was almost the exact same game that occurred last year. We were up 15 at half last night, and again, playing at a pace that we have to play. They were 4 of their starters were 6'5", 6'7", 6'7", 6'10", and we aren't. And so we had to try to play fast and did a good job of that. And in the second half, just like they did in Lakeland last year, they were able to slow the game down and make it a possession game and pound it inside of their big guys. And they were effective doing it. The difference this year was we didn't get in foul trouble. And so we were able to keep our guys on the floor and made some good plays late to stretch it out again. So it was good to see our guys respond, particularly knowing that they had that in their minds.
Coach, talk a little bit about being an athletic director and a coach. Before having a facility like this, how difficult it is, being at a volleyball and basketball powerhouse, to get gym time. So how are things kind of divvied up now?
Well, it does make things quite a bit easier. Back in the day, if you will, prior to this year, it was difficult. We would generally in the mornings, boys basketball, because our girls volleyball team has been so successful over the years and extends their play into mid-November, which is at least 2 weeks into the basketball season. So we would generally go in the mornings to get our practices in, and the other teams would fall in as they could. Obviously with volleyball being in the postseason, we would give them the main court time as much as possible. So it made it difficult to get really started off on the right foot for our boys and girls basketball programs. But we have that ability now, and it's been great transition as far as that goes as well.
All right, Coach, listen, congratulations on a great first year here. You guys definitely waited. You earned it. And coming up next, we've got Coach Reinhardt and Berkley Prep taking on Lake Highland Prep. That game at 10 o'clock here on Brighthouse Sports Network. More halftime from Berkley after this. Hillsborough County takes on Pinellas County in this Berkley Prep Invitational. Wharton leading Clearwater by a score of 36-19 at the half. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from half number 1, and Mr. Hester coming off the bench. Eric Hester, the freshman, knocking down a couple threes for Clearwater.
This young man showing he has some range and also some confidence to be inserted into the game and knock down a couple big-time shots.
Well, Wharton able to passing lanes. That was the end of the first quarter. McGill hits the three. Able to split that defense, Andrick, and just go to work offensively.
I mean, he stretched him out with his ability to knock down the long-range balls, knock down a couple of threes, but he can get to the paint anytime that he wants, and Sir Reynolds has also done a good job of finishing at the rim.
So McGill, the leading scorer with 20. Sir Reynolds has 10. Look at the halftime stats, Andrick. What stands out?
Well, really, it's the 7 turnovers right now by Clearwater. Now, most of those turnovers have led to layups for the Wharton Wildcats. You know, but pretty clean game, neither team in foul trouble. You know, just right now, too much great guard play when we talk about Sir Reynolds and C.J. McGill.
Clearwater, it's going to be tough to match the athleticism of Wharton the rest of the way. Do you continue to slow this game down? How in the heck do you get back in it?
Well, I think he has no choice but to try to speed this game up. You may see them do some different things defensively. We saw them have one set with the 1-3-1.5 court. They picked up some full court man, but it's very tough to rattle a gifted point guard like C.J. McGill.
All right, here at the Berkley Prep Invitational, this has been a treat the past few days. Second half, Wharton and Clearwater coming up right after this.
The Brighthouse Sports Network Game of the Week is presented by Subway Restaurants. Stop by Subway this January for the new Savory Bacon Melt today. Subway, eat fresh.
Well, there's your score, Wharton over Clearwater. A 17-point lead for the Wildcats. Team that fell last night to Lake Highland Prep. Lake Highland Prep sporting one of the premier point guards in the country. We'll see him in the second half of our doubleheader here tonight. Coach Alan Carden leading Clearwater. There's a look at the slate on this basketball Saturday. Andrick, 4 high school basketball games in a row on Brighthouse Sports Network. That is awesome stuff.
4 games, but 4 good games with some great talent from across the state of Florida. I mean, really, these are some teams that we'll be seeing again, I guarantee you, in late February, early March. And not just on DVR.
So Jakeem Greer for the Wharton Wildcats. Wharton still undefeated.
How about Clearwater going into a, looks like a box and one here. Actually a triangle and two. They're attempting to take both CJ and Sir Reynolds out of the ball game by denying them the basketball.
Wharton undefeated in district play, as I was about to say. Top district foes, Alonzo and Plant. Chase Litton swings it over. Tyler Langston couldn't knock down the shot. And pulled down by Tabakovic. Here come the Tornadoes. Ryan Ramirez, pass, picked. Boy, C.J. McGill got down the court in a hurry, didn't he?
Young man is just extremely quick. This is post-knee surgery, mind everyone.
That shot's off. Ramirez with a rebound. Baseline, and the jumper's good. Schaefer Sandy, that's his first field goal tonight. Litton lays it in.
Well, that's the difficulty sometimes when you're in, I won't call it a gimmick defense, but this triangle and two. It's not knowing where you have to run back and transition in defense. Typically, your point guard's the first one back, but Carden's stuck with having to locate C.J. McGill as soon as the ball comes off the rim on the offensive end.
Chase Litton finally into the scoring column. Here he goes for 2 in a row, and Carden had to foul him hard to prevent him from scoring as Jakeem Greer helps him up.
It's always good when your quarterback's playing your center or power forward because you know he has some jets and he can get out and go.
So foul on Carden, and now Chase Litton. I mentioned Wharton's football season, Andrick, and the loss that they had to Dr. Phillips. The day after that loss, immediately Chase Litton was the first guy at basketball practice saying, "Coach, I am ready to go."
Well, this is a young kid that's not only a leader, but he wants to be a part of a winning program.
You know, usually football guys get a week, sometimes a couple days. They always go to their basketball coach. Seems like it says, hey, coach, give me a little time to heal. Not in Litton's case.
Who needs rest when you're 16 and 17 years old?
That's right. Tabakovic up and in, 40-23.
Well, 2-2-1 3/4 trap by Clearwater.
Nice passing. That was beautifully done. Drew Vanderbroek.
Press break just like you practice it.
Loose ball with C.J. McGill. Clearwater's got to be careful here. Wharton can gash you in a hurry. McGill's pass was stolen. Jump ball called. Log on to BHSN.com and click on Varsity Spotlight every night. Our photographers scan the games for the best action photos. Varsity Spotlight on BHSN.com. Brighthouse Sports Network is your home for high schools. Walk. Rasim Ahmed called for the travel.
Wharton also electing to switch up defenses on that possession, 2-3 zone.
There's the turnover story. Only 2 turnovers for the Wharton Wildcats. They take care of the basketball. Langston was wide open but couldn't cash in. Ramirez trying to punch it down to Ahmed, now gets it back from the elbow. Nice tip in. Armin Tabakovic. That was gorgeous touch.
Again, it's pounding the offensive glass, taking advantage of their size. Wharton again with their patience.
Oh, man.
Drive by Vanderbroek. And that's 6'8", putting the ball on the floor.
And a timeout's going to be called on the floor. Tommy Tonelli. So competitive. You can see Andrew giving it to his team, even when they lead by 19. Look at the wins this season. His first 13 years. Small stint as the USF Director of Basketball Operations. And as a player, the numbers speak for themselves.
You know, Coach Tonelli, I think, really helped set the bar of where great point needed to be at USF. I mean, I think he really started a line and a legacy of very, very good point guards. You know, tough, gritty-nosed guy out of Chicago, Illinois. You know, they're just stories about this man, not only in his playing days, but even in pickup basketball. It's just about how competitive he is. And, you know, that has carried over to his team, and that's why he's been so successful as a coach.
You know, also, Andrick, the early graphic we showed you at the top of the show, you got Wharton playing well, but Freedom High School at 10-1. You've got some tremendous basketball being played in the north of the city. As Greer goes to the rim, Linton tried to follow it back up, and a foul's going to be called.
Well, this gives me an opportunity again to plug the USF alum, but here Wharton again out on the break. It did just such a great job of getting out and finishing. An opportunity for Greer to go and knock down 2 free throws. But you know, Freedom is coached by Cedric Smith, you know, who's the all-time Conference USA Steel leader, former USF 2 guard, and you know, both he and Coach Tonelli are just great coaches. I mean, they've always absorbed the game. They've never stepped away from basketball. I mean, there's never been a time off. Those guys went straight from playing directly at the college level and now back, you know, at the high school level. And both of them really love their job, which is the other good thing about it. So, you know, Coach Tonelli is going to have his work cut out for him, I think, after the next year or so. You know, Cedric Smith had a tough go at it last year. He's got his Freedom Ball Club off to a good start. And those 2 programs to watch.
And that's good stuff, Andrick, because Hillsborough County lost a lot when Doug Applin stepped down from Chamberlain, and then Mike Phillips departing from playing high school. That was a blow to the area overall because he was so invested in local basketball.
I mean, it's one thing to know the game of basketball and be able to coach, but you really cannot, really downplay longevity at a school and what it takes to build a program. I mean, look at what Dezagua's been able to do at TC, what Phil's been able to do at Tampa Prep, what Ryan Hart's doing here now at Berkeley. It takes time to build programs, and kids want to know that you get your, my brother played for you for 4 years. I want to go play for you, and if you're around long enough for Coach Phil, you may have someone whose son is able to come play for you.
Yep, all the premier programs have had coaches that have been there a long time, it seems. Neil Goldman at Jesuit, another one. Having a solid year. There's Coach Dezagua. His Tampa Catholic Crusaders last night at Jesuit in a battle at the Tiger Palace. Came up short and also took the Everglades team to overtime earlier today as Carden hits the three. Clearwater trying to climb back into this game, trailing by 18.
You're talking about just tough schedules. Coach Dezagua's had to play Tampa Prep, Jesuit, and Ransom Everglades over a 2-week time span. Again, Clearwater with some full court pressure.
McGill, guy who is tough to press for sure. He'll just pull up and hit, and he's just not missing tonight.
And put this disclaimer out there. This is a kid that honestly could probably average 25 to 30 points a game, but because he plays for Coach Tonelli, he's so controlled and really coachable. I mean, every shot that he takes looks like it's going in. I have not seen him take a bad shot this evening.
That is the second time Carden has gone head-to-head with Chase Linton, and he has let him have it both times. First, let's take a look at the jumper by McGill.
Well, McGill just creating space, his ability to dribble the basketball, and Carden's trying to do a good job of ball pressuring him, but McGill just too quick. And here on the foul, I don't think there's anything malicious there. It's just that Chase Linton gets up a lot higher than Carden.
Well, this game is produced by Brighthouse Sports Network, the official television partner of the Florida High School Athletic Association. Brighthouse Sports Network, your home for high school sports, an exclusive programming service of Brighthouse Sports Network. So Drew Felios, Andrick Frazier, great to have you with us tonight on Brighthouse Sports Network. And there you take a look at Pete the King Olson, longtime assistant coach at Clearwater, inducted into the Clearwater High School Hall of Fame, Andrick. That'll take place this upcoming Friday, January 11th. Of course, the King retired from Wisconsin basketball as he coached La Follette High, 2 state titles in '77 and '82. Came to Clearwater in 1994, has been a lifetime assistant there of 20 years, helped Rudy Coffin and Jack Coit. He's an ex-Marine and avid fisherman, and Andrick, they are giving him a place in the Clearwater Hall of Fame this upcoming Friday. That is a heck of an accomplishment for Coach, and I want to say, Coach, congratulations as he keeps on doing what he loves.
You say giving him a place, he's earned it. That is for sure.
Well, that last miss for Wharton at the free throw line, the first miss of the night for the Wildcats. 50-30, McGill. And now Langston will pull it out. Wharton's going to take their time.
Just the discipline and patience of this ball club.
McGill, gorgeous pass. Linton puts it in. Well, I would love to play with C.J. McGill if I were a big man. He's going to find you somehow.
Yeah, but he would hate to play with you because you would mess up a bunch of his assists.
Hester puts it home. Eric Hester knocks down another three. Now Litton going to the goal, and he takes it behind the head again. Boy, Chase Litton feels like he's playing football tonight.
I don't think he's taking this many hard licks, in, like you said, in a game, football game. Here again, Litton just getting to the rim, and it's a hard foul.
And Justice Reed delivered the blow. Football player on football player, defensive end on quarterback right there. As Reed, one of the top defensive end, he'll leave the game right now. Justice Reed, one of the top recruits next season in all of Pinellas County. Eight points for Chase Litton. Wharton took over this game at about the beginning of the second quarter, and they have not let off the gas pedal. Anthony White passes it up top. Kovic gives it back to White. Can't hit. Tip up, and still can't put it down. It's gonna be Clearwater ball.
Wildcats not doing a good job of locating and boxing out, and they're triangling too.
This Clearwater team with 6 football players. There's one of them. Linton coming up with the block. Down on the other end, and Jakeem Greer finishes.
Jakeem Greer with 12 points on the night. Just a balanced ball club we're watching in Wharton.
This is going to be called on Wharton. Jakeem Greer whistled. There's McGill. C.J. McGill also trying to find a college to play basketball. Boy, if I were a small school, a Division II school, like the University of Tampa or Florida Southern, I would be scout number 4 big time. Hester, just no passing lanes whatsoever. Reynolds to the rack.
The steal in the jam by the Wildcats, number 3.
The Wharton Wildcats end the third quarter with an exclamation. 12 points for Sir Reynolds. Yes, sir. We end the third quarter here at the Berkley Prep Invitational. (58-33). Wharton and Clearwater, the brand new Straz here on the campus of Berkley Prep High School. Drew Felios, Andrick Frazier on Brighthouse Sports Network, and Hillsborough County pride beaming through and through. Right now, you look at the teams in our top 10. Hillsborough with 6 representatives, Polk County with 3, and only 1 for Pinellas. Andrick, Pinellas County basketball overall a little bit down this year?
I think from what we're accustomed to seeing over the years of the past, I mean, you think about in our viewing area who's won the most state championships. I mean, Kathleen's been there several times. You know, Lake Well's been there from Polk County. Hillsborough County has not had a public school state championship since 19. You know, to put things in perspective. I mean, so Bogosiega, Lakewood, Clearwater High School, you know, been there a few times.
Quiz. Who
Yes.
won that championship in 1980?
Oh, it's Plant City. Horace Broadnax. Come on, man.
Well, I thought I could stump you there. Ryan Ramirez into the game.
Coached by Jimmy Smith, senior.
Armin Tavakovic. Boy, so many Hillsborough County teams have gotten there over the years. Remember Chamberlain just there not too long ago. Sickles was there, Ronaldo Garcia's team. Kaplan took lots of teams to the Lakeland Center. So hard to finish the deal.
Drew, we've been over now for, what has it been, 3 consecutive years doing games. And, you know, getting there is not easy in itself, but things really have to go your way unless you just have a dominant ball club to win a state championship. I mean, we saw that last year in several of the games that we did.
High flying for the Wildcats. Carden now comes back the other way. But look at defensively. Wharton just gets after you. Even when you're in a fast break, they figure out a way to. That foul on Sir Reynolds. He's got 3 tonight. A 26-point game. Inside, Ahmed tried to go right at Litton, and Litton's going to be whistled for the foul.
Well, no, Coach Nelly does not want his team stopping the clock, allowing Clearwater to score points from the free throw line, but Litton just thinking he has all ball. Give up a little bit of position to Ahmed.
So Rasim Ahmed, a tight end on the football field, just a sophomore. That one just off. Clearwater has a few international players in the starting lineup. Ahmed is one of those. He is of Albanian descent. Armin Tabakovic is from Bosnia. So 5 points for Ahmed. Carden goes to the bench. And Hester checks back in for Clearwater.
Full court man-to-man pressure for Clearwater.
Chase Litton, nice ball fake. Tried to get by Ryan Ramirez, but a whistle.
This is an athlete right there, Drew, in open space. See how shifty he is with the inside out. If he only had the ability to finish with the left hand, he spent more time, I guess, working on his inside out dribble as opposed to his fade routes.
You know, it's amazing with the way that football is today and all the 7-on-7 that Chase Litton has to play in and all the weightlifting he's got to do and everything else to be a successful football player. How in the heck do you have time to hone your basketball skills? That is the question I have with how demanding high school sports is today.
I think for the skill positions, playing both sports gives you an advantage. I mean, it allows him to stay in shape. Trust me, there's a much different shape from football to basketball shape. I mean, basketball shape, cardiovascular-wise, helps him out. You can see where his strength comes into play here on the basketball court. Lateral quickness is something you have to be able to, do in basketball that helps him out on the football field. So I'm pretty sure he finds time on the weekends to make sure he's getting the passes and his reps in the weight room.
Anthony White scored, sent him to the line. So White finally gets one to go down, and he'll head to the charity stripe.
Anthony White again driving right and showing you the floater.
This ultimately is what Clearwater needs. They need somebody like White or Leston or Hester to gain confidence at that point guard spot. So Coach Carden has another ball handler in the starting lineup aside from his son, Cody Carden.
You have to be able to have someone to get you in the sets, and I think that's what he's struggling with right now. And when it's typically your best player, your best scorer, your first option, once they give the ball up, they're typically not getting it back. You would like to be able to free up Carden some more to get open looks.
Timeout's going to be called on the floor. This copyrighted broadcast produced and presented by the authority of Brighthouse Sports Network. This broadcast intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of Brighthouse Sports Network is strictly prohibited. 61-36 is your score, as the Wharton Wildcats have looked pretty here tonight. This gym will fill up in the next hour as the Berkley faithful will pile in to watch the home team play as they take on Lake Highland Prep. Boy, I love that little suite right there, because behind that is the hospitality room where all the food is, Andrick. I like to camp out in there before contests, but you can watch a game from the bird's eye view.
Before, after, and during.
Derek Calloway's checked into the game for Clearwater. He's got the basketball right now, number 33. Jordan Leston with it. He's the quarterback of the Tornadoes football team. He's got it right now, penetrating, and lost it. Coming back 2-on-2. Right to the goal. Jakeem Greer was stripped. It'll stay with Wharton. Ahmed heads out of the game. Tabakovic in for Clearwater. Oh, nice play.
Unselfish basketball by Reynolds.
Another assist for Sir Reynolds. He's got 4 assists tonight as Lengst was able to score. White all tied up. Litton wanted a jump ball, but I think they're going to get him for a foul. Well, have you been surprised, Hendrick, as we have been enjoying the Bowls the last few days? Florida State and Florida doing their thing. Gators, not so much. Heisman Trophy winner in action last night. Johnny Football, Jakeem Greer. Now with 14 points.
The bowl games, and to be honest, I haven't spent a lot of time watching it. I always wait for the championship game. Did opportunity to watch a little bit of Louisville, Florida game, and I know we have a lot of Florida fans in our viewing audience, but I've always been a fan of people, I think, that do things the right way. And in an era where we have coaches, switching programs left and right, and really, I think, pursuing money. I mean, you have to give a hats off to what Charlie Strong's done at Louisville in a short amount of time.
Yep.
And just him promising young men that he's going to stay in their lives and coach them, and sticking to that promise and coming through and producing. So hats off to Coach Charlie Strong and the Louisville Cardinals.
Sir Reynolds has 15 points. Plus, it's tough to watch football, Landrick, when your TV at home is deadlocked on Brighthouse Sports Network 24/7.
DVRs come in handy, Drew. There's only so much I can watch of you in a given day.
Hey.
I spend time with you on the air. I mean, there's only so much time I can spend, watching you.
Well, if you ever
I don't want it to become an obsession.
Well, games on all the time on our network. The busiest sports season we have right now. We got basketball, we got soccer winding down, also wrestling in full swing. Softball and baseball season coming up. All on Brighthouse Sports Network as Tyler Langston takes it to the rack. And right now, Wharton in complete control.
Well, again, I mean, they have Clearwater stretched out. I mean, and there's no way, that Clearwater can keep up at this pace with Wharton. I mean, these guys are just too skilled. And all 5 positions on the floor for Wharton can put the basketball on the floor at any given time.
Traveling.
Nothing going the right way for the Tornadoes.
"17 turnovers tonight for the Clearwater Tornadoes. And I believe we're approaching running clock territory. Foul going to be called. Sir Reynolds. And now Reynolds will head to the line. So watching Wharton tonight, Andrew, it's the first time you've had a chance to really check out C.J. McGill. How would you assess his play, and at the next level, how does he figure into college basketball? Does he have a shot to play at the next level?
I mean, C.J. McGill is gifted. I mean, he can shoot the basketball, he can handle it. I mean, he's going to have the big question mark everybody's going to know is all about his size. And being a small point guard myself, I think size, in a point guard position, especially now at the college level, is not a huge question mark. I mean, he has the ability to get his team in the offense. He handles the basketball, ball over. He can shoot it. So when you're small and you can shoot the basketball, defenses have to play you honest. He's quick enough to get around defenders. I would like to see him, you know, actually match up with other point guards to see how he defends. Can he keep other point guards in front of him? You've seen his ability to cut passing lanes.
Inside, and a bucket. Schaefer Sandy has not had many chances to score tonight, only 6 points.
Now, there's not a large amount of difference in his game, size, and stature with Andre Smith that graduated from Blake about 2 years ago.
You're talking.
McGill.
Doesn't have quite that offensive shoot-first mentality that Smith had, because Smith was a weapon out there on the court.
Oh, I mean, and trust me, if McGill wasn't playing in Tonelli's system, he could put up 30 points a game. I mean, he just shoots the ball too well and he's extremely quick. I mean, but what Coach Tonelli does is he gets you in the mindset of how you're going to have to play in college.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of Dallas Moore, too, at Boca Ciega.
You're talking about a kid that can score. No, Dallas Moore can flat out get it done.
It'll stay with Clearwater. Just over 3.5 minutes to go. Basketball all day here on Brighthouse Sports Network. Winter Haven and Boone coming up next. Linton, oh, nice steal. C.J. McGill coming back at you. Carden could just try and hang on, and a foul's going to be called. So now, Coach Tonelli's going to empty his bench. J.C. Olbrick checks into the game, wearing number 33. Heard no applause behind me. And now, Tonelli's son gets up off the bench. This is Thomas Tonelli. Rarely gets a chance to contribute.
Even the substitutes that check into the game from Wharton know where to be defensively. Hands out, communicating.
Ramirez passed up the shot. Carden wants it. Trying to tee it up, just off. Tonelli comes away with it. C.J. McGill weaving his way down court. McGill missed his sophomore season, torn ACL that year. If he had played all the way through his sophomore year also, man, oh man. Well, for these Wharton Wildcats, only 2 losses on the year. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule. They take on the Plant Panthers next week. That'll be at home, and then the Robinson Knights right after that. 2 days later, and they hit the road. Bloomingdale, Newsom, and Alonzo. So they'll go to East Hillsborough County and come back and take on the Alonzo Ravens. I see Coach Todd Price up there above the scorer's table.
Coach Price doing a little scouting, but he's also a basketball junkie.
Boy, he loves the game. Always talking basketball every time I see him.
Well, he's another one of these good success stories and what he's been able to do as far as building himself a nice little solid program as well over at Alonzo.
I just wish he had stayed at Leto. That's all. But like Don DeZagua and Mike Ray DePompo, great soccer coach.
It seems that Leto's a breeding ground for great coaches. They just, you know, they take that next step, you know, go places and do great things. I mean, look what Leto was able to do for you.
Yep. Under 3 minutes left to go in this game. Well, several Tornadoes have gotten valuable minutes here. Guys like Anthony White and Eric Hester. White, oh, nice pass. And finishing is Chase Ierna, the 6'4" junior. It's the third assist for Anthony White. Olberg gets it ahead. Tonelli, check that. That is Scott Salazzo scoring.
Names should sound familiar to basketball fans here in the county. Adam Salazzo's little brother.
McGill came up short. I was about to say, when you watch Salazzo, he just looks too familiar. Turn and score. Ramirez puts it in. So Wharton will improve to 14-2. Clearwater will fall to 7-9. Tornadoes trying to make this score look a little bit more respectable as Chase Ierna scores again. He's got 4. See if the Tornadoes can string a couple buckets here. Hester, kick ball. Salazzo got his foot on it. So Salazzo will be a good player for Wharton next year. Right now he's a junior. But I mean, these are talented kids that Coach Tonelli is bringing off his bench.
Shows you have a ball club he has. I mean, I've always been a firm believer too. If you have to have good teams, you have to be able to have good competitive practices. So, I mean, you want your bench to be able to come in and contribute. You know, it's not going to be like this every night, but I can guarantee you that these guys are happy to see their teammates getting playing time.
Carden hits the deck. 3 free throws coming up. There you take a look at the Wildcats bench. Put some good work in here over the past few days.
Carden, his second trip to the free throw line after being fouled, shooting a 3-point shot.
Tough night for Carden tonight at the line. He's only 2 of 6 there. And now whistled for the foul. So coming up next, stay tuned. Winter Haven and Boone. Do not go anywhere. So much basketball to come as we hand it over to our Orlando crew. And then Lake Highland Prep and Berkley Prep coming up right after that. Coach Price and company going to be sticking around because we got a heck of a game. You talk about Justin Gray and you talk about Joel Berry. We're going to have a lot of star power, Andrick, in that nightcap.
Yeah, definitely some players to watch. Not forget about Martins. Saw him fill it up. Tournament MVP of the Brighthouse Sports Network shootout.
23 points in that game against Strawberry Crest. Wharton basketball with 25 seconds left to play. Those Brighthouse Sports Network sunglasses, a very, very hot commodity. You know what also I thought was interesting? The color of the Tampa Catholic uniforms in their earlier game, Andrick. They went with the fluorescent yellow.
That is extremely uniform.
uniforms made the University of Oregon look conservative. There's a little sample, but their uniforms, trust me, were even brighter than that, a sharper contrast than that.
With the matching shoes.
Yep. Second free throw for Michael Warren, 6'5" senior for Wharton. And Jordan Leston. That ball is, let's see, out of bounds to the Wildcats. 2.2 seconds to go.
Turnovers have just plagued Clearwater this evening.
So just too much Wharton in this first televised game of the Berkley Prep Invitational, as the Wildcats go on and win by a final score of 79-47. So when we come back, we will talk to our player of the game, also the head coach of the Wildcats, Tommy Tonelli. Wildcats rolling here on Brighthouse Sports Network.
The Brighthouse Sports Network Game of the Week is presented by Subway Restaurants. Stop by Subway this January for the new Savory Turkey and Bacon Melt today. Subway, eat fresh.
All right, there's your final score. The Wharton Wildcats defeat Clearwater 79-47. Wharton takes control at the beginning of the second quarter, and they do not let up. Alongside Andrick Frazier, I'm Drew Felios, and we're joined by CJ McGill, our player of the game. And CJ, we were so impressed with your performance. Tell us about where you guys are at right now. You only got 2 losses, playing pretty well, but tell us, are you on track to make a run and possibly win a state championship?
I mean, absolutely. We practice hard every day. Coach coaches us hard, pushes us hard every day in practice. I mean, it's just been an unbelievable year so far, and I mean, I think we can go all the way.
Well, CJ, I was also blessed to play for Coach Tonelli, only for a short amount of time. But talk to us a little bit about, playing for Coach Tonelli, kind of how he gets you motivated.
Okay, I mean, in practice, he pushes us hard. 4 games, he gives us a good speech. He's just an all-around good coach. I'm blessed to have him as a coach, and I just love him as a coach.
Now, you've got some great athletes you play with. When you talk about Greer, Sir Reynolds, Tyler Langston dishing the ball to him, and Chase Linton. Didn't even mention him. You got to worry about yourself, too, scoring whenever the time is right. But you look like you're in complete command out there. How do you feel when you take the court?
Those 4 other guys, I mean, I know they have my back. I know I can go out there, and I got them on my back, and I know they can help me out for whatever. So, I mean, we're all just like a family. And great friendship, and it just carries on.
Final question. Any college prospects right now for you?
Not right now. Not anything that I'm interested in yet. But, I mean, hopefully at the end of the year I can get something good.
All right, CJ. Good luck to you, my man.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
CJ.
All right, CJ McGill, Wharton point guard, playing well tonight, leading the Wildcats to a big win over the Clearwater Tornadoes. Andrick, the things that CJ did well, distributing it, also picking the right time to use his own offense. Showed great shot selection, and every time he got a chance, he knocked one down tonight.
Well, it's a coach's dream to be able to have someone that entrusts with having the basketball in their hands and they make the right decisions. And I think we saw that time and time again with CJ tonight. Only 1 turnover the entire night. As much as that young man has the basketball in his hands, I mean, that's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, CJ's a special player. He's been that way ever since his freshman year. He's done a great job for us. He's a great kid to coach. He's got a great temperament. And we got a lot of good players on our team, and he, of course, he does a great job.
Coach, watching you guys out there tonight, you guys were getting after it. You're knocking down shots, never really threatened in this basketball game. I got to ask you, how was light playing against Lake Highland? I know Lake Highland probably a little bit more talent, but assess your play overall here in this invitation.
I was very pleased with our play in the first half last night. I thought we played about as well as we could play, especially considering the caliber of the opponent. But I just thought in the second half, they really, in the third quarter, they just really got after us, and I was disappointed in the response of our guys to meet that physical challenge that they put to us. So I talked about that to our guys tonight. I know Clearwater's a very physical, aggressive, type team. They got, some guys that are strong and tough. So.
Well, Coach, talk a little bit about, your choice of, tournaments and playing over the holidays. Look at your schedule. It's not like you were playing any cupcakes. So what drove those choices, and, why such tough competition in a short period of time?
Well, you always want to find out some things about your team, and the only way you can do that is to play against some of the best teams you can in tournaments and invitationals, and those give you, especially an opportunity to do that. So every year, whether we go across the county to Pinellas County or different counties that we've been going to over the last several years, you really get a gauge on where your team's at and moving toward, your district tournament and hopefully into regional play.
Coach, it's been a long time since you've sat here. It's been a long time, and we don't get a chance to see your team very often because we only have so many games. So I'm going to put you on the spot right now. Are we going to see you in Lakeland?
Well, that's our goal every year, but you can't. You just got to take one step at a time and keep your goals, in front of you, and don't look too far ahead. We got to continue to play well in our district and get ready for district tournament, and then go from there.
All right, good luck to you.
Okay, thank you.
Tommy Tonelli, back on the game of the week. Wharton strong tonight over Clearwater. Andrick, it was the athletes opening this game up. Sir Reynolds going to the rack in the first half. It was C.J. McGill, our player of the game, and Jakeem Greer also getting out on the break. Chase Linton came through in the second half, really stepped up his game. This Wharton team looked like a buzzsaw here tonight.
Well, I think, Drew, what we saw is them set the tone defensively. They were able to get in the passing lanes, get a couple easy buckets, getting up and down the floor, and then knocking down some jump shots. But, you have to tip your head off again to Coach Snell. It's a disciplined ball club. You see the structure they have, their ability to score. Again, you heard them talk scheduling these type of games over the holidays. You want to get prepared for districts. You don't want those letdowns like they had last year against Eastlake.
Yep. Coach Carden told us before the game, this Wharton team, very, very talented. They showed why tonight. So the Wildcats get it done here in the Berkley Prep Invitational in their first tournament here at the Straz Family Center. Wharton victorious over Clearwater 79-47. For our producer, Chris McCulley, for the entire Brighthouse Sports Network crew and Andrick Frazier, I'm Drew Fellio. 79-47 is your final score. Until next time, so long from Berkley Prep.